Right, welcome ladies and gents, let's talk Top Gun Maverick. I went to watch it last night. I am late on this film, but you know what? Seemingly not late for the buzz, because my IMAX screening was packed. This film has just blown away moviegoers worldwide. It's the biggest domestic hit that Tom Cruise has ever had. It's the biggest, the lowest second week drop ever. It's a huge smash hit, and you know what? Deservingly so. So this is obviously my review. I'm going to talk as I'm not going to do spoilers. As non-spoilery as possible. There's going to be no spoilers here, because there's nothing to spoil outside of the trailers that you've seen. You know, we are picking up seemingly where we left off to a degree. So there's not much to spoil here. But let's get into why this movie is so good and why people are responding so well to it. This is an unashamed film with no message, no agenda, no nonsense. It's a throwback to a feel-good film. The enemy in this film is vague. There's not even a political enemy, really. I'm sure they mention the nationality at one point, but it's so blasé and important to the storyline that I've forgotten who the enemy was in this movie, because it's not important. This film is exactly what it should be, just unashamedly a feel-good film. You know, the kind of strongest message here is just believe in yourself and just be a good person. That's basically the only message in this film. It is just fantastic. And I think that's why people are responding so well to it. Because there's no partisan nonsense in this film in any way, shape or form. There is nothing to put anyone off on any side of any spectrum ever. That's it. It is as simple as that. It is just a straight down the line, here you go, wham bam, thank you ma'am, feel good film. And you know what? It does make you feel good. This is a fantastic film. From start to finish, in fact. From start to finish. Now, I did not watch Top Gun going into this as a reminder, because I wanted to see how this film would fare for people who may have forgotten elements of Top Gun. And you know what? I think it does very well. It hits the ground running, introduces you to who and what you need to know about the world to enjoy the film. You don't have to have watched the original or the first one, because that's what it is, it's a sequel. You don't have to have watched the first one any time recently to appreciate this film at all. The cinematography is amazing. It is genuinely amazing. The scene transitions, and I know some people will be like, why are you talking about scene transitions? I think this is important. Scene transitions can, flow a film quite well, but can also add emotional impact. And there's one specific scene where they do a crossfade, just a sort of not crossfade, but a fade out scene transition. And it adds such emotional power to the scene. Those that have watched this film will know exactly what I'm talking about. I would imagine so. And it's a glorious film. Cinematography, technicality, the fact that they actually got up in fighter jets, just again mind blown. They really, really smashed it out of the park with this film. It's funny. It's witty. Again, non-partisan. There's no partisan nonsense in this film. It's just, here you go, here you have it. Now, some people will say, well, it's basically a rehash of the first one. Who cares? Who cares if it is? It doesn't need to be anything else. This is a movie that absolutely no one asked for, but is absolutely doing gangbusters. Because it is what it is, and Tom Cruise going on Twitter and saying we made this for the fans unequivocally is completely completely true. There is no, well, you know, we've got the fans' money, so we're going to, you know, try and get new fans. There's none of that bollocks in this at all. I am so very sick of studios going, well, we've got the fans' money, so what we're going to do, we're going to just, you know, swap everything out that those fans knew of this franchise to try and get new people involved. Stop it. Top Gun Maverick is a film which absolutely shows you do not need to do that. Because there's new people coming to watch this film. New people, new fans are appreciating this film for what it is. Because this is a timeless story. And this is the problem we have today when you inject the current political narrative or partisan narrative, whatever side of the spectrum you're on, into films. They age so very quickly, and they are just maligned by either side of the spectrum that the partisan nonsense that you brought to the film is on. This is a timeless story because it just is. It's a moral story. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Now, I've got to touch on one thing that I thought was slightly tasteless. And I've got to touch on spoilers to do that. So I'm not going to say it just yet because I do need to say it. But this is the best film this year. This will be the best film for a good couple of years now, I think. This is a very, very good film. It does exactly what it needs to do. And you must go and watch this film. The soundtrack's great. Also, definitely watch this on an IMAX screen. Watch it on the biggest screen possible. And you won't be disappointed. It is worth every single penny that you have to pay extra to, you know, watch it on a big screen. So anyway, here's your spoiler warning. Because I need to touch on what I thought was slightly tasteless in this film. But I will say, going into it, that I know it would have been approved as well. So my opinion on this is merely just as a spectator. The people involved would have approved this. So here's your spoiler warning. Iceman is back. Obviously played by Val Kilmer. Now Val Kilmer has not been acting for a very good reason. He had throat cancer, right? He actually can't talk anymore. Which I think is... I think it's incredibly tragic, right? It's really tragic. But it was so very good to see him in this as well. And I hope he got a good payday for this, you know? Because someone who's had their livelihood robbed from them through no fault of their own, for a vicious, nasty, malignant disease like cancer. You know, I hope he had a good payday for this. But they brought him back in a non-speaking role, slightly speaking, via AI, believe it or not. But they brought him back in a role where he had throat cancer, basically. Now, the thing I think is tasteless about this, even though he would have approved it because he stars in the film, FYI, so I'm just an observer on this. But he's obviously recovered from throat cancer and he survived it. Unfortunately, Iceman's character doesn't survive it and he dies. Which I just thought was a bit of an odd choice. Bring the guy back that has survived throat cancer to have his character have throat cancer and die from throat cancer. It was to me it seemed a bit morbid, but nonetheless, that's just as a spectator and observer. And that's the only slight thing I have on this film. It's not even that, it's just, again, that's just me observing it. I don't care either way, it just seemed odd, a bit tasteless. But anyway, that's it. I don't have anything else to say. This is a film that you absolutely must watch. It's just great. Go out and watch it now. If you haven't, what are you doing? Go now, today. Genuinely. Go as soon as you possibly can. You will not be disappointed. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out my Teespring store. Supporting the channel via this way does go a long way. But also, not only that, you do get to wear some awesome merch. These are one-of-a-kind designs designed for me by my graphic designer. We, of course, have our Clown World line, which is in mugs, hoodies, t-shirts. We've got Space Jeebus. And then for something a little bit different, we, of course, have right down at the bottom right here, we have our Pulsar GTIR. Also, ladies and gentlemen, consider checking out and supporting my second channel, which is Car Nonsense. This is a vlog and car channel. You can find links to this in the description box, along with my Teespring. Please do consider supporting.